Welcome to another episode of the BREW review. This week we are checking out Orval Trapist Ale. So Orval, this is one of the monastic breweries, in that it's a Trappist ale. It's brewed in a monastery by monks, and I believe it has to be brewed for charitable causes or be a non-for-profit. So I always hear varying data on how many Trappist breweries there are, but I believe there's around 10 that exist in the world. Half of those are in Belgium, and then there's some other ones in like the Netherlands and Austria. I think there's one in the British Isles. The United States used to have one out in Spencer, Massachusetts, but unfortunately it went under. That's why the number kind of changes over the past several years. And the reason I picked this one, not only, anytime's a good time for a wonderful Trappist ale, but we just had Orval Day. I think the day changes, but it's usually in late March. I believe this year it was on March 21st. And I was trying to look up more information as to why they have Orval Day, and the only thing I could come up with was some blurb about 1,000 years ago, there was a princess who accidentally dropped her ring into a spring and a trout returned it. And somehow that has been turned into Orval Day. So look it up for yourself. I think that story was told by somebody who probably had maybe, I don't know, a 12 pack of these before they spun that yarn. Anyway, any excuse, real or imagined, Orval Day or not, it's a wonderful time to try a Trappist beer. So what makes these beers unique, not only the fact that they're made in these old monastic breweries, but the fermentation. A lot of times it's spontaneous fermentation. Instead of them pitching a specific yeast strain, it is incubated by the local flora and fauna. And you also get the fermentation is done in the bottle too. So this beer is bottle conditioned. Therefore, it's going to have a little bit of sediment in the bottom of the bottle. That's just some of the yeast that was still remaining in the beer that helped carbonate this beer in the bottle that has now since settled to the bottom. So don't be alarmed when you get a little bit of sediment there in the bottom of your beer. That's yeast that's full of vitamin B complex. Health nuts pay top dollar for that stuff. So that would make it a healthy drink, I guess. So anywho, let's go ahead and get to the beer. This would be a classic Belgian pale ale. I love the bottle design. It looks like a big old bowling pin. Got the really dark brown glass, which helps protect it because this was shipped all the way over across the ocean from Belgium. I think what do we got about? 6.9% ABV, and it also has a drink by date. This was actually bottled in 2024 and is best by 2029. So some people will cellar these beers for a period of time, although this is not one of the stronger ABVs that you could let cellar for, say, a decade or so. Then you'd be getting into some of your Belgian strong ales. And this is more of a Belgian pale ale, clocking it at under 7%. So enough of my yapping. Let's get into this awesome beer. So like pretty much all Belgian beers and bottle conditioned beers, very fizzy. You're going to get a lot of that great carbonation. I can already, the aromatics are just exploding out of this, out of the glass. I can already just smell it as soon as I poured it. Let's get to the looks real quick. There you've got that. Again, a lot of effervescence. Not sure you can see that, but we're getting a lot of nucleation as the CO2 rises up out of the liquid. Got just a beautiful frothy, very light amber colored head, and just a very pretty looking beer. A nice light amber color, maybe with a little hint of orange in there. So here come the aromatics. Oh man. That is classic Belgium. You get in a lot of the yeast character, and with that comes a lot of like clove, maybe some baking spices. Also getting a lot of like citrus and fruity aromatics. And then you're also getting that classic Belgian, that aged earthy hop aromatics. I know from the description, it doesn't sound that appetizing or appealing. It smells like grandma's basement, but actually it's a very inviting smell if you're a beer nerd like me. Cheers. I took too big of a sip. It's like so well carbonated. I gotta take this in smaller sips. I took a big gulp there, but full of flavors. I mean, big malt, big fruit, a little bit of you get the sweet maltiness, but also getting almost some like saltiness in there, which is very pleasant. It just kind of offsets some of the sweetness that comes from some of the mineral content. They use like well water, so it's got a high mineral content. So I'm getting a little like a slight saltiness, and there comes that hoppy, like earthy bitterness is coming through as well. So just layers of different, sweet, salty, fruity, all the different flavor sensors are going off in my palate. Also getting kind of that subtle peppery coming from the yeast. Very subtle in this one. This one's more kind of sweet and salty than peppery, but some Belgian pale ales have a really nice kind of peppery zest to them. This one does, but it's very constrained. And this beer actually, for being a Belgian pale ale, which tends to be one of the, I guess, relatively lighter bodied of the Belgian strongs, it's actually got a little bit of heft and a little bit of body to it, but the carbonation, it's so well carbonated, it really helps wash away some of that body, and it finishes out very dry, as it should, almost like champagne-like with its effervescence and its dryness. So, but it does leave behind a very pleasant hop and yeast, spicy kind of flavor in the palate that going to be tasting for a while, and that's a good thing. So yeah, this is awesome, and it's only going to evolve as I continue to kind of sip at this and let it kind of warm up a little bit more. I did pull this out of the fridge about a good half hour ago, so it's come up to temperature a little bit, but I think if this comes up to temperature some more, we're going to get even more flavors and aromatics that come out of this. So I'm really looking forward to sitting with the rest of this beer. And again, when you kind of get to the bottom, you always be a little careful, because you're going to get some of that sediment. Won't hurt you at all. Like I said, it's full of vitamin B complex. So you get a chance, whether it's Orval Day or any of the other 364 days out of the year, I would definitely go check out one of the Monastic beers from our friends over in Belgium. This is Orval Trapist Ale. Cheers.